My work is primarily all about identity and race and culture and how that affects me as a person. So a lot of my work, since it is mostly primarily self-portraits, and I kind of use that as a literal sense to talk about myself, but then also I kind of like to use myself as a placeholder for another person who may feel like me as well. So my work is primarily about identity, and that's mostly because so much of just what I experience every day is me and my experiences. So when it came to me trying to figure out what was the most important thing for me to bring within my artwork, and for me it was my experiences and how I felt about things that were happening. I just feel like it's more important to come from a conceptual area of something that is you know, important in the world than to do something else. And that's kind of also what drew me from doing kind of straight photography into doing something a little bit more mixed media, is because I felt like I could get my ideas across for what I really wanted to talk about in different ways than just taking straight photographs. And so that's why I definitely like, you know, self-portraits are nice, and I was just kind of just doing straight self-portraits, but I felt like somebody could really get a better sense of something if I did a video, or if I did a sculpture or something along those lines, where they could kind of feel it and get a little more sense of an emotion from what I was doing. So I think it's just really important for me to pull from my own personal experiences, and those are things that I know the best. So I can just, you know, say my opinions and do what I want within my artwork and not really have to, you know, follow some sort of very formulaic line or make sure I'm fitting into this, you know, what my themes are. When my themes are just me, I can do whatever I want. So that's really good for me. So these are the skins that I make. So there's like quite a few of them here. But they're basically just gel medium photo transfers. And as you can see, like once you peel all the paper off of them, they're a very skin-like dry texture. And then also, depending on the thickness of the medium that I use, I can get different textures with them. So this one's a little bit thinner, and then this one is a lot thicker, so it's not quite as opaque. I make them out of laser prints in gel medium, and I tint them so they look like my skin, somebody else's skin in general. And then after you make that transfer, you have this substance that is very tactile and very kind of dry skin-like. And I've been kind of playing around with what I can do with those skins, and kind of also what they can mean in a different area. So I've been experimenting with putting them in different places here, and doing different things with them, taking video of them, images of them, seeing how they live as an installation versus a video versus a still image. And by putting these pieces in kind of the real world, I'm taking them out of a gallery setting, so they're not only shown to people who want to go into a gallery and experience artwork, but I've been putting them in places where you can kind of walk down the street and see them. They're in trees that are in public, and people will maybe just see them, and maybe they didn't want to see them, but it's something that is happening in the open right now anyway. Like, these things are happening, and I want to be able to make people see these things and confront them with these objects and have them have to have this conversation, or even to wonder why maybe they don't want to see them, or wonder why they are so bothered by this, you know, figurative skin hanging from a tree, but not bothered by the act of people dying every single day. I really like working with my hands and getting like an actual physical thing out of something that I'm doing, and sometimes me just taking an image of something doesn't really do that for me. So I loved working in the darkroom and doing that kind of thing, because your hands are in something and you have like this physical one-of-a-kind thing at the end of it, and that was really great. But I also really wanted to start doing more things and making things more like three-dimensional, so that there was like, you know, I'm also, I guess, really into this like one-of-a-kind situation at the end of it. So like there's this one thing I have at the end that's done, and it's like this thing that you can touch, and that I really like being able to touch things mostly.